My plan was to go fishing today, but when I looked out the front door, things were bleak. It had been a very windy night. There'd been a lot of rain. I hadn't slept much, but the weather forecast was for things to improve, so I was sure things couldn't get any worse. I was wrong. Thankfully, as I left home, things started to clear up, and there was a promise of what could be quite a nice day. My plan was to do a little bit of local lake fishing.
Whoa, there we go.
Unfortunately, the forecast was for heavy winds, so this was the only day I had to go fishing. I was pretty damn grumpy.
I've come to this lake this morning just to do a little bit of fishing. I had 2 hours. It's cold and frosty, and if I don't end up suffering from exposure, then I'll get some fish in here. Otherwise, I'm just going home. But there's trout, there's carp, there's redfin. I'm going to land me at least one of those.
Hopefully, I was going to catch something of reasonable size, but I knew there's a lot of smaller fish around, so I had to tackle up so that I had my best chance of catching something decent.
The rig that I'm using is just a running burley cage. The burley cage has got weight on it, so that's acting as my sinker. Not only that, this one is a 40-gram burley cage. It's got a lot of mesh holes in it. And because I'm fishing into a still water, fishing into a lake, I want that because I want this to come out fairly quickly, because once the burley cage hits the water, I want burley to trail down the water column and then deposit some on the bottom. So this does that very, very well. Perfect for that. So I've just got that running, and then I've got that through to a size 10 hook and a nice little worm on it. Something the fish will love.
Before the wind built, I was able to cast fairly accurately, so I built my zone to attract those fish.
Okay, just started to get some bites just then.
This was a good sign, and at least there were fish about.
It's going to be a smaller trout.
This was a stock trout put in by the Victorian Fisheries Authority, and while it wasn't the big one I was hoping for, at least it was a fish, and it's a great start to the day.
All right, getting bites on this. Yep. Okay. Now, I know this is just going to be a carp, but I don't care.
I must admit, I don't mind catching carp. They can get very, very big, so they put up a fantastic fight at times, especially as the waters get warmer. And so when they're the only fish around, they provide a bit of fun.
Whoa, there we go. Yes, it's a carp.
I must admit, this fish was pretty cooperative. Once I got close to the bank, of course I didn't have my net with me, it actually did all the work landing itself.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. There we have him.
I was consistently casting and getting burley into the same area, so into a target zone, and I was starting to get a few bites and a few fish.
Another small trout.
As forecast, the winds really started to build, and at times it got really dark, so there was a threat of rain as well. But there was sun sometimes. It was hard to pick, but at least the fish kept coming, and this was another little plate-size stocked trout. The wind finally made it to gale force. I just couldn't believe the conditions. There was waves, there was white caps, and the wind was blowing everything around, including all my tackle. I thought I'd have one more cast just to see how things panned out before I surrendered for the day.
I have got something on this.
It felt like a decent fish, and after some maneuvering, because I had very light line and a small hook, I managed to walk backwards and sort of bring it into the shallows, because naturally I had forgotten my net. Anyway, it turned out to be a carp, which was bad, but it was a good one, and I just wanted to see how much it weighed and how long it was. I tried pulling it right onto the bank, just about got it there before it decided not to cooperate, and then took a run, which broke me off.